Welcome to the Lovestead.
Hello, welcome to the Lovestead and my December vlog. My name is Jessica. Thank you for joining me today. It's great to see you. I really appreciate you spending time with me and keeping me company here online. It is Monday, December the 1st. Happy December. We have just had a really big snowstorm, the first major storm of this season. We got 14.5 inches of snow and it makes me really happy. So I have a bit of work I need to do on a research project, a writing project yet tonight. It's about 8 p.m. So I'm moving my office, my workstation downstairs to have a nice cozy evening at home doing that. And I'm also going to work on getting my December TBR posted and up. Let's talk about what I'm reading. So I'm currently reading Silverborn by Jessica Townsend, which is book 4 in the Nevermoor series. It's a middle grade high fantasy that I love. I'm reading it with my friend Sherry and I'm about halfway through that one. And so the book under 500 pages that I'll be picking up probably tomorrow, not tonight. Tonight I'm feeling more like Silverborn. But it is Housekeeping by Marilynne Robinson. I've never heard of this before. Apparently it is a modern classic. It was published in the 80s and it's supposed to be a coming of age story that addresses the ideas of impermanence, especially of beauty and happiness. Sounds like it's going to be pretty heavy. I've been going to an in-person book club. I went for the first time in October where I read Carmilla for that one. And so I think they meet every other month. So in December, this was the book that they picked and I've never heard of it. Never heard of it. So really curious because if it's a modern classic, people must have heard of it. And I'm wondering why I've never crossed paths with this book before. But I will probably start this tomorrow. Hi, Dolly. There's my girl. There's my girl. Hi, baby. Oh, hi. Hi, baby. Gonna give Truey a little bite. A little love bite. Hi, Truey.
He's a baby. He's just a little baby. He's a baby. He's just a little baby.
This is my first attempt at snickerdoodles. We got more snow tonight. Hey vlog, it is Sunday, December the 7th, and over the weekend I finished Housekeeping by Marilynne Robinson because book club is Monday, tomorrow. And this is like definitely literary fiction. It's extremely slow moving, like extremely slow moving and extremely detailed. Like if you want to hear the most mundane things in life described in great detail in beautiful prose, you might like this book. I thought that the writing in it was really lovely. Like Marilynne Robinson obviously can put words together. I didn't feel much in general for the story though. There's not really a plot, but you go into it knowing that there's not really a plot. So, you know, set your expectations there. This is very much like an extremely slow moving, thoughtful character study more than anything. And I didn't really like the characters all that much. I didn't think they were all that interesting aside from Aunt Sylvie. And you don't really get to know Aunt Sylvie super well because she doesn't have a POV. You only know her through Frances, I believe her name is. Ruth's point of view. Oh, there's a little fruit fly on the lens there. It's like little vignettes, like little snapshots of just daily life for these girls with their aunt that combined create a larger picture of their life, essentially. I don't know, I didn't connect with this. I'm not super like wowed by it. For me, when I read something like this, for me to really love it, there has to be like some sort of profound idea addressed. And I think the main idea that's being addressed in this is the sense of impermanence and the way that time marches on. There's also the idea of like sisterhood and, women's relationships with other women, not in a sexual way, but like relationships between sisters, relationships between mothers and daughters. And like that's a major focus in it, but it doesn't really say anything new about those relationships, and it doesn't really say anything new about transience or about impermanence either. It just says things are impermanent and that mothers and daughters have complicated relationships and women have complicated relationships with each other. And it just, I don't know, like it was very middle of the road for me for a literary fiction. I gave it 3 stars. I'll see if after tomorrow, after the conversation, if any of my thoughts change and maybe check in with you, because perhaps someone else with a different perspective can like change how I feel about it. I do think that this would make a really good conversation. So I think it'll be interesting just to see what other people think. I will not be keeping this book. It's going to go on my Pango if you're interested. The book I'm going to pick up next is a Christmas novella called The Deal of a Lifetime by Frederik Backman. Okay, so he says, this is a short story about what you would be prepared to sacrifice in order to save a life. If it was not only your future on the line, but also your past. Not only the places that you're going, but the footprints you've left behind. If it was all of it, all of you, who would you give yourself up for? It says it's Christmas Eve and a father and son are meeting for the first time in years. The father has a story he needs to share before it's too late. As he tells his son about a courageous little girl lying in a hospital bed a few miles away, he reveals even more about himself. His triumphs in business, his failures as a parent, his past regrets, his hopes for the future. Now on this night before Christmas, the father has been given an unexpected chance to do something remarkable that could change the destiny of a little girl he hardly knows. This sounds like it's gonna just wreck me. We're getting more snow. I love it. I love we've had such a snowy December so far. It's my favorite. Please excuse the mess in my office. My office in general lately has become a bit of a catch-all as I'm decluttering other areas. But here we have Miss Maggie. And Maggie's auntie, Cajun, who you all know as Cajun Peach here in the BookTube world, sent all the babies some treats for Christmas. And so she sent Maggie these good and tasty triple flavor stacks with peanut butter. And Maggie loves them. Look how good she's sitting and waiting. Oh, she's so excited. So Maggie's going to eat one. And she says, thank you so much, Auntie Cajun, for my wonderful treats. I love them.
Don't mind Buttershaw. He's just enjoying his goldfish friends. Ash. Hi, Ash. Oh, you're so pretty. You're such a pretty baby. Oh, look at Ashy boy. Look at Ashy boy. I haven't put up my tree or any decorations yet, and I've been kind of sad about it. And it is Sunday, December 14th, and I'm in my office tonight, going to be up late grading papers. So I just strung up this random short strand of lights that I had just for a little bit of Christmas cheer. It looks so ridiculous, but it makes me happy. Your decorations only need to make sense to you, people. Wait, I made it better. I put it in my plant. Hang on. Let me turn the lights off and we'll see how it looks in the dark. Oh, it's a Christmas monstera. Hark the herald to sing. Oh, Lord.
Hello vlog. It is Monday, December the 15th. It's later in the evening. It's about 9:30 p.m. I have coffee. If I look haggard, it's because I work in education and it's almost winter break. And I don't know if you knew this, but before winter break, students tend to go a little bananas. Hints! And the coffee at 9:30 p.m. is only half calf though. So there. I've been struggling with POTS lately. So I don't usually ask this on the internet. But POTS stands for postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. If you have POTS, especially if you have EDS and the evil triad that comes with EDS, which is Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, POTS, and mast cell activation syndrome, will you comment down below and let me know what works best for you for your POTS symptoms? I actually went to urgent care last week because my heart just was racing so bad. And they were basically like, they did an EKG and they were like, your EKG is fine, go home. It's just POTS. And I was like, yeah, I know it was probably just POTS, but like, can we make this better? And they were like, go home. So I'm trying to keep my fluids up. I'm trying to increase salt intake and lay down throughout the day if I need to lay down. But let me know, like, how do y'all handle it? Because it's been really bad for me lately. I've not been able to function as I normally do. What else can I update you on? I've watched a couple of things for my mental health. And because after I'm staring at a screen grading papers till my eyes bleed, I don't want to sit and read necessarily, so I've watched one Christmas movie that I've never seen before. It's a Netflix original called Merry Gentlemen, and it's about this dancer that dances for a company like the Rockettes and gets fired because she's too old and goes back to her hometown where her parents own a bar. She basically turns the bar into a male strip club. And I thought it was just kind of okay. It didn't really have that much to do with Christmas, which was disappointing. Like, this could have been set during St. Patrick's Day and been the exact same story. So it was okay. I don't really recommend it. I also watched the Diddy documentary that was produced by 50 Cent and loved it. Not that I loved all the horrible things that happened, but just loved how well done it was. Like, the things you learn in that, it's so good. It's not only like just about like how terrible of a human Puff Daddy is, but it's also a really cool look at the history of 90s hip hop and rap. And that was like my era. That was the music I grew up listening to. And it was so awesome to see like that part of it and to just remember like, oh yeah, I love them. I listen to them all the time. There was one rapper they left out that I was hoping, but it was probably just because he didn't have anything to do with either of the West Coast, East Coast feud that was going on, or either of the record labels, and it was kind of that kind of thing. But like Coolio. Come on, if we're going to talk about some of the great rappers from the 90s, you got to mention Coolio. Anyway, loved it. If you have any interest whatsoever in any of those subject areas, you have to watch it. You have to. Just go in, check your triggers, because he did a lot of horrible things to a lot of people. It was very violent in many, many different ways. So check your trigger warnings. But I loved it. For reading updates, I have a couple of things I can update you on with reading. I have an update and a book haul. Let's do the update first. Silverborn. I am very close to being done. Like, I only have this much left. So I'm like 25% left, if that even. And it's finally starting to pick up. So one of the things that has gotten a little bit fatiguing with this story is it's extremely dialogue heavy. Extremely dialogue heavy. And I noticed that about 50% of the way in, I was like, this whole book is just people talking. And that's quite different from the earlier books in this series. Earlier books in this series had a lot more description of the world and world building, so you could like visually see everything going on, and it had a lot more action and things like that. This is extremely dialogue heavy. And I think that for me that gets fatiguing, and it takes away a little bit of the whimsy, because part of the whimsy of this series for me is being situated in Nevermoor and like getting all the visual representations of like what a Trixie Lane looks and feels like, and getting all the visuals of the Jahquel hotel and the different ways that the rooms change, and like descriptions of what the smoke smells like in the smoke room. And like, she spent very little time at the Jahquel, so it's missing that, and it's all dialogue. But here towards the end, it is starting to pick up a little bit more and be a little bit more action oriented. So we'll see how everything wraps up. Next, I bought myself a Christmas present. I bought myself a book. I've done so well on not buying books this year. I only bought a handful of books, and the books that I did buy, I like immediately read. So like, I'm so proud of myself for that. And I was like, I've earned it. I've earned a book for Christmas. So I ordered it on Pango. It's actually the first book I've ever purchased on Pango. I've been selling books on Pango. If you want to check out my store, it's linked in the description box down below. But I bought it from, let me share with you the seller I got it from, because she did a great job. Sent it to me really quickly. It was in good shape, just as it was described on her store. And then she wrapped it in this really cute Christmas wrapping paper. So it's Sarah at Sarah, SARAH 856350 if you want to check out her Pango store. So here's how it was wrapped, which was so cute. I didn't tell her I was buying it for Christmas, but I guess one could assume that if you're buying a book around this time of year, it might be for Christmas. But really cute little Christmas bag. And this is a book that my library does not have in any format. Hyperion by Dan Simmons. I really want to go on a sci-fi journey, and this is like classic sci-fi, and kind of similar with how I perceive my fantasy journey, where like I've talked about in my head, I've got this canon of fantasy series that you have to read if you want to call yourself a fantasy reader. You have to read the canon, and I kind of am approaching like my entry into sci-fi the same way. I've learned enough about sci-fi to know that this is part of, in my head canon, for the sci-fi you have to read if you want to call yourself a sci-fi reader. So Hyperion is like a series of stories where each chapter is a different character's story. And it says, on the world called Hyperion, beyond the law of hegemony, of man, there waits the creature called the Shrike. There are those who worship it, there are those who fear it, and there are those who have vowed to destroy it. In the Valley of Time, tombs were huge, or where huge beauty... Can tell it's been a long day. Let's try again. In the Valley of the Time tombs, where huge brooding structures move backward through time, the Shrike waits for them all. On the eve of Armageddon, with the entire galaxy at war, 7 pilgrims set forth on a final voyage to Hyperion, seeking the answers to the unsolved riddles of their lives. So then each chapter is each person's like voyage to Hyperion. One of my favorite sci-fi booktubers, Brittany from Books with Brittany, this is like one of her all-time favorite sci-fi. I would also like to give Dune another chance. When I read it, I was very like cranky about sci-fi because reasons, and like I think that I didn't enjoy Dune because I didn't let myself enjoy Dune. I think I went into Dune planning to not like it, and so I found reasons to not like it, if that makes sense. So I would like to kind of wipe that slate clean in my mind and give Dune another try. But that one's easily available at my library, so yeah. So that was what I got myself for Christmas.
Hey vlog, it's later in the evening, Tuesday, December the 16th. And lately, excuse me, lately Miss Maggie's been doing this thing where she does not want to be downstairs at all. Even if I turn the fireplace on and like put her heated blanket in her bed that's down there, like she just does not want to be downstairs. And so she'll run upstairs and go back to my office where we spend all day, every day, because I work from home. So she'll run upstairs and go back to my office. And then if I don't come up with her, she barks for me. If I block off the stairs to keep her from running up the stairs, then she sits at the bottom of the stairs and whines. So she allowed us to be downstairs for 1.5 hours this evening before she got back on this kick of needing to be in the office all the time. And I don't know what's going on, why she's needing to be in the office all the time. I'm getting a little tired of being in the office all the time. So I was really thankful that she let us be downstairs for a while tonight. But anyway, I'm glad I have like my work computer's up here, obviously, but I turn that off at the end of the day. And then I have a personal computer that has an external DVD player. So I'm just playing Christmas movies, and I have my little lights on my Monstera plant, and I'm snacking on a bagel and just trying to make a cozy time of it, even though I'm still stuck in my office. But Maggie's the boss, so we do what Maggie wants. I have winter break coming up for work. So I was thinking about what I want to do on break. And I know I want to do my sourdough starter. I had ordered a sourdough starter from Baker Creek Seeds. And I was reminded of it this week because the new catalog came in the mail for Baker Creek. I don't have it with me, otherwise I would show you. So I had ordered the sourdough starter like February of this year, and I haven't gotten it started yet. I'm honestly nervous because I feel like I'm just going to kill it. So I haven't been getting it started because, yeah, I have a feeling I'm going to fail. But I'm going to give it a try over winter break and get the sourdough started. I want to do like a whole house clean. I have the place pretty well decluttered except for my office and my basement. So I'm going to keep working on those areas, but I want to do a whole house clean and just get everything reset for the new year. Maybe do like one room a day, do a deep clean of every room. Some appliance maintenance, some car maintenance kinds of things. I want to go thrifting. I haven't been thrifting in like a year, it feels like. Oh, I'm sure I've gone at least once this year, but I can't remember it. So I want to go thrifting. Of course, read a lot. Oh, and I've got a bunch of like chicken bones and stuff in my freezer and like veggie scraps and stuff. So I want to make a bone broth or chicken broth in my slow cooker. So I guess those are my plans. And spend a lot of time with Dolly, of course. See the chickens. Yep, those are the plans. chickens, Dolly, bone broth, sourdough starter, thrifting, cleaning, reading. Is that everything? I think so. I can't wait. We've got like a week to go. We're on the home stretch. I'm making some bread machine bread, and you know, like when you make bread, you have to let the yeast kind of activate and wake up. And my yeast just started activating really well in like the past couple of minutes here. So hopefully this will be a good loaf. And I personally, I love the smell of yeast, like the activated yeast smell. It smells so good.
Hey vlog, it is Thursday, December the 18th, and I have finished a couple of books to talk with you about. So first I finished Silverborn by Jessica Townsend. And the ending, I was talking about how the ending was kind of building up to something a little bit more action-packed and cool. And it sort of did that. It was still very dialogue heavy, but there was a tiny sliver bit more action. I don't like saying this, but I'm a little disappointed in this installment. It just didn't have what the first 3 books in the series had. It reads a little bit like filler. I think that she lost the plot. So Holopox sets it up for, oh, this is spoilery. So if you don't want to be spoiled on Nevermoor, step away for just a second. I'll put a sign on the screen that says spoilers, and I'll take it down when spoilers are over. I'll also timestamp it down below, but spoilers starting in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so Holopox ends with Morgan deciding she's going to work with Ezra Squall to learn how to be a wondersmith because she's not getting what she needs out of the ghostly hours at One Sock. And so it sets it up to be like the major conflict that she has to figure out how to tell Jupiter that she's made this agreement with Squall. And then she's going to work with Squall to get like her wondrous arts fingerprint things. And then in Silverborn, she totally loses the plot. And she ends up spending all her time in the Silverborn district, the Silver district, trying to figure out this mystery of a dragon rider who dies. And like the whole book is about that. There's very little of her actually working with Squall. She doesn't get any more fingerprints. Like, it just veers off track. It just really veers off track. If I could rewrite it, I would make that mystery still happen in the book, but have it be just like a handful of chapters and not the main focus. But have that main focus be her trying to figure out how to tell Jupiter that she's working with Ezra. And then her focusing on building up her powers through her lessons with Ezra. So that's kind of how I would prefer to rewrite it, because it stays true to the overarching narrative that she built up in books 1, 2, and 3. And I'm wondering if the same thing that happened with Legendborn for me this year, I always say Legendborn, happened for me this year. It feels like the same thing's happening for me in Nevermoor. I feel like this was a bit of a filler book. I feel like the publishers were like, hey, this is really popular. We're making a bit of money out of it. Let's stretch out the series a bit. And that could be why it took so long for it to be published, because maybe Jessica and her publishers were disagreeing on what should be in this book. Because I feel like, similar to how Tracy Deonn lost the plot in Oathbound, she has lost the plot in Silverborn. Okay, so end of spoilers. But yeah, I feel like she just veered off track from the overarching storyline that was happening books 1 through 3. And maybe, I don't know, maybe in the next book, what happened in Silverborn will be important. It'll tie in a really important way. That's entirely possible. We'll just have to see. Hopefully it doesn't take another 5 years for the next one to come out. The next book I read was The Deal of a Lifetime by Frederik Backman. It's a really short novella. I think this might be a bit of a Christmas Carol retelling, because one of the characters in this is Death. Another character is like reflecting on his life and how he screwed things up and what a terrible person he was. And like, I didn't love this. I feel like Frederik Backman is capable of so much more than what this ended up being, and I don't feel like it lived up to the introduction that he gave it, where he was like, this explores what happens when you go back to your hometown, and like there's maybe like a couple lines about that. Maybe this would have been better if it was longer and he'd just taken more time with it to really flesh out those ideas a bit more, because this was only like 60 pages and it had illustrations. Yeah, 65 pages, and it had like these illustrations where it was like full page illustrations, which were lovely, by the way. I really liked the illustrations. But 65 pages isn't a whole lot of time to really build up some of these ideas that he's trying to do. So I think this would benefit from being longer. I gave it 3 stars. Okay, and now the next book that I'm reading with my eyes is one that I'm reading from Kindle Unlimited. It's a dark romance, an urban romance. Let me find my phone so I can read you the description. It's called Capone by Jahquel. And, oh, a booktuber. What's her name? I need to look, 1 second. Okay, so it's a booktuber I started following this year, and she's great. Her name is Sheldina. And she talked about this series in one of her Bookmas videos or Vlogmas videos. And it just sounded so good. So I will be reading that next. I checked it out. Let me read you the description. Says, she was forbidden fruit. Ain't shit ever been forbidden for me. I take what I want and I want her. I shouldn't have these strong feelings for a woman I just met. I wanted to lay every man that even thought about looking her way, including my brother-in-law. Erin was mine before she even knew it. Our paths were meant to cross, our future to intertwine. And then it says, everything about Capone has told me to stay away from him. He's not good for me. He has the power to make me feel again. And the last time I felt anything for someone, it nearly destroyed me. You know, these Goodreads descriptions of romance books, they just tell you nothing. And that's not just this book. That's like every romance book description is like this, where it's like, I really wanted her, I really wanted him, and that's about it. So this isn't the fault of just this book, but I feel like every description, like, it tells you nothing. It tells you there's going to be a romance. But I did start reading this. I read the first chapter of it, and the way it sets up is this main character, Erin, she witnesses a murder-suicide of her parents. And wow, that would be traumatic, right? That's going to have an effect for sure. So that's how this book sets up. And then when I figure out how the love interests are going to meet and whatever and who they are, I'll let you know.
Pardon the mess I need to clean up yet on my counter here, but here's the bread. I'm going to cut a slice and have it with some honey. Some honey, as Meghan Markle likes to say. Nice crisp outer layer. It's an okay bake. It's a little dense, like especially down in here. I would like more air bubbles in my bread than this. I think my yeast might be a little bit old, but I'm also just not the best bread maker. I have to work on final grades all weekend, so I stopped by my favorite coffee shop. These are Dolly's treats from Auntie Cajun. Let's give her 1 or 5. Those are good, huh? Those are good. I don't have any more. Oh, you got a kiss, Cajun. She says thank you. Santa Paws bought you pizza. He brought you pizza. Oh my goodness. You got pizza. Can I have a bite? Oh no, I can't have a bite. I can't have a bite. That's Maggie's pizza. That's Maggie's pizza. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Pardon the noise. My cats are getting into trouble as usual. But you've seen the treats that Miss Cajun got for my critters, at least a couple of them, Maggie and Dolly's. This is a treat she got for me, this Garfield mug. And I am so obsessed with it. Not only is it Garfield, it's like a huge mug. Like, it could hold, 20-ounce drink. Like, it is so cute. I am never getting rid of this. I have this other mug that I got that's a Lego mug that my grandma got me because I do like Legos. I don't do a lot of Legos because they're expensive, but when I game, I have all the Lego games on my Xbox, and they're like my favorite games ever. So my grandma got me this Lego mug back in like, I don't know, 1999. And it might have even been my brother she got it for back in like 1999. And I still use it, but I've used it so much, like the paint and stuff on it is starting to fade. I'll have to show it to you sometime. But that's how much I'm going to use this one. Like, I will use it until the paint starts to fade, and hopefully it never fades because it's Garfield. And I have only just started collecting Garfield stuff. So I've got several of the bind-ups. A couple of them Cajun sent me. And then I got a couple like special edition bind-ups of the Garfield comics from my friend Sherry. And then I'm going to be working on just collecting memorabilia and Garfield themed things. And I've got a spot in my basement. It's going to be the Garfield corner. And so I don't want to put this in the Garfield corner because I want to use it. Like, this is the start of the non-bind up Garfield stuff. And I'm so happy about it. I love it so much. Thank you, Cajun. You're the best. Today, Thunder and I are watching BookTube. And then I'm going to film a bit. And do sprints on, I think it's Sarah's channel tonight. I won't be on the sprints, but I will be watching sprints and participating in the chat. Oh, it is Monday, December 29th. Still on break. Super relaxed. And I will check in with you for a longer sit-down check-in on my reading here in just a bit. Oh, hi, Ollie. Ollie, Ollie, Ollie. Hi, Papa. You're so handsome. Oh, you're so handsome. You're so handsome. His fur's all grown back from when he had his summer shave. Oh, are you going to read some John Gwynne? No, he's going to eat plants. BRB.
Hiya. Okay, it's later. I told you I was going to do a reading check-in here, and here we are doing a reading check-in. So I finished Capone by Jahquel, and I like this. I thought it was well done. I don't think it's going to be like a favorite of all time, but I thought it was a really well done romance. Like good character work, good plot, good atmosphere. So if you like a dark romance, I recommend that one. The next book that I'm going to pick up is Carrie by Stephen King. My friend Chelsea at Read Chelsea Read has inspired me to copy her and everyone else on BookTube read Stephen King's volume of work in publication order. And this is the first novel published in 1974. So it's about Carrie White. She has telekinesis and she's violent. So I'll start this one. Probably will not finish it by the time the year wraps up, but we will see. I am about 50 pages into Ruin, and I'm actually enjoying this. So far, enjoying it, which surprises. I know I've had a bit of a rocky relationship with the first two books in this series, so a lot of people say they get better as they go, and I do believe that because I do think that book 2 was better than book 1. So hopefully we've got some good momentum going and this will be an excellent, fun, awesome read, especially because it's like 800 pages long. That's the reading update. I got a package from my booktuber friend Sherry. I showed you what Cajun got. She got all the Critters treats in that Garfield mug. Well, my friend Sherry sent me a package, and in that was Garfield socks. Oh my gosh. And look at his sassy little face. Oh my gosh. I love them so much. I'm of course going to wear them. See, here's my problem with collecting Garfield stuff is I'm going to use the stuff. I don't want it all just sitting on a shelf. I want to actually use it and enjoy it. But yeah, Garfield socks are so cute. And then she also got me some dish towels and a matching pot holder set that say Love and paw prints, which is perfect. My last name is Love. And boy, do I have paw prints in this house. Love and paw prints. I love it so much. And then she got me this decor piece, which is awesome. It looks like Baby Thunder. And it's so funny because my grandma also got me an ornament that looks like Baby Thunder. So I think everybody has caught the magic that is Baby Thunder. And the sign says, never forget who you are. You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, and loved more than you know. And I think this is a quote that Sherry and I have talked about before and kind of shared back and forth. So I'm going to hang this under the butterflies up there. Thank you so much, Sherry. It made my day to get this package and Cajun's package as well.